I've been working on this film for a decade, and I'd say I was working on something about the national parks, and people go, "Oh, Theodore Roosevelt," and you go, "Yeah, he's important, and he's in part of one episode out of 6." Well, what about the National Park Service? Well, they don't come in until halfway through our 3rd of 6 episodes. We're not making a travelogue. We're not making a nature film. This is the story of ideas and individuals. And it isn't just top-down history. It isn't just benevolent, white, famous men who are bestowing these gifts on Americans. This is a bottom-up story of people who are black and brown and red and yellow and female and poor, as well as famous and white and male. And that is an important thing to say. So-called ordinary people just devoting every fiber of their energy to saving a particular place. And that, to me, is the real story of the national parks. The most important person in the history of the national parks, and therefore in the history of our film, is John Muir. We are still basking in the warmth of the half-life of his ideas. They have changed and rearranged the molecules of Americans. And he has the first word in our series, and though he dies at the end of episode 2, his spirit invests 3, 4, 5, and 6, and he has the last word of the thing, and everybody references him throughout. When Muir says, "It's the morning of creation," you feel like you are here and seeing everything new. There is a vivifyingness to everything. There's a luminosity to light. Suddenly, things take on a different relationship. You feel, as John Muir suggested you could, a kinship with all things, not just with other people, but a kinship with all of nature. When people use the national parks, we're sort of distracted. Our modern culture distracts us, and we see them merely as islands of recreation. Mm-hmm. And I think that what we don't realize is that the original impetus to get out, to get that exercise, to go to some place that isn't our urban, built human environment, is an impulse to find God, or to find peace, or to find quiet, or to find tranquility, or to find just the possibility that's present in silence. And it's all right to gather the gear. It's all right to see it as exercise. But I think to more fully benefit from them, we have to actually acknowledge, no matter what our beliefs are, that underlying it is something much more powerful than us. There's something bigger than us. We really hope that every superintendent at every unit of the National Park Service will be angry at us because they don't know what to do with all the people after the series come. That's a good problem for them to have. But what if they come investing themselves in these pristine places where, for the first time in human history, land was set aside not for kings or noblemen or the very rich, but for everybody and for all time? We invented this idea. It's not without undertow and contradiction, but we invented it, we've exported it, every other country on earth, more than 200 countries, more than 4,000 separate national parks have copied these ideas because it is, as George Melendez Wright said, the first biologist of the National Park Service, good hygiene for civilization.
All right, flash round.
Okay.
Denali or Yosemite?
Yosemite.
Grizzlies or wolves?
Grizzlies.
Longest backpacking trip you've ever taken?
Hours, 8 hours.
John Muir or Ed Abbey?
John Muir, no contest.
What's your favorite John Muir quote?
That this is still the morning of creation.
If you could change one thing about the parks, what would it be?
I'd make them twice as big.
Ken Burns National Park, where is it and what's in it?
In your imagination.